Well, hi everyone. Still in London, the United Kingdom, standing just outside the Highbury Islington train station. And this is where I am trying to make my way to the Emirates Stadium. That is the home ground of Arsenal Football Club. And I want you to join me on this journey. Well, it is a big day in London. Probably the biggest game in world football is going to be happening today, where Arsenal Football Club are taking on PSG in the first leg semi-final of the UEFA Champions League. We won't be able to get in for the game, but we are going to walk around the stadium, see some good probably features around the stadium, and I will be sharing that with you. So come and join me on this journey as we go to try and check out the Emirates. It's about under 4 hours to kick off. For that game, we'll be kicking off 10 p.m. Ugandan time, which is 8 p.m. British Standard Time. But this is our journey to the Emirates. Well, according to the Google map, it will take us about 18 minutes to walk from here to the Emirates. I've never been there, but the fact that there are lots of Arsenal jerseys that are heading in this direction, so I will also just follow them and get there. Of course, like we did say, there is a big game happening later in the day, so it is. Well, according to the Google map, the journey will take us about 18 minutes. Personally, I've not been there. It's going to be my first time, and I'm seeing so many Arsenal jerseys heading in that direction. So I'll also just follow them. Of course, like we did say, it is a big night. They are hosting PSG. That is in the UEFA Champions League first leg at the Emirates. Return leg will be played in Paris in about a week's time. Arsenal is trying to get into the finals of the UEFA Champions League again for the first time since 2006. They lost to Barcelona in Paris, 2-1. So Campbell gave them the lead, but then they were they were 10 men down before Barcelona got themselves back into the game to win. Should have been their fifth title at the time. PSG have not been there since 2010 when they lost to Bayern Munich in that COVID final. But of course, I'm looking forward to so many things. I won't be able to watch the game. I don't have a ticket. And of course, I also didn't apply for media accreditation, but there are so many things around the stadium that we can actually see. Personally, I'm looking forward to that Thierry Henry statue outside the stadium and a couple of other features outside the stadium. And yes, probably maybe we will be able to talk to some people, especially when we get to the stadium. You would love to talk to some PSG fans. Of course, you would love to talk to some Arsenal fans and a few other people around the stadium, their thoughts about the stadium and stuff like that. But also the other bit that I'm interested in seeing, but also showing you, is time and again, I think back home in Uganda, time and again we complain about stadiums are being in the middle of the city, stadiums that should be outside the city and stuff like that. Like you have the Mandela National Stadium. In Kenya, you'll have the Kasarani. Most of the African countries we've been to, pretty much, none seven of them have the stadiums in the middle of their cities. And of course, this discussion came around when we had the redevelopment of Nachivubo Stadium. So many people thought that probably the developer should have gotten land outside the city to construct a stadium there or erect a stadium there and stuff like that. But then you get to realize that most of the European countries you will visit, I've been to a couple of those, the stadiums are actually in the middle of the city. I've been to Wembley Stadium. I was there for the FA Cup final last year and the UEFA Champions League final still last year. And I was actually blown away because this stadium was sitting in the middle of the city with the skyscrapers around it and all that. But of course, when they are putting up such a structure, everything is part of the plan. Everyone, the city council, all stakeholders, that the movement, how people are getting to the stadium, how people are moving when the game is done, and stuff like that. Which is the challenge on our end, because somebody will put up a structure and they won't really care about who is going to use it, how will they be getting there, how will they be getting home, and stuff like that. The other bit that people always complain about is building sports facilities without parking. Actually, sports facilities are not supposed to have parking, because not everyone is allowed to drive their car to the stadium. I mean, you have a stadium that is sitting a capacity of about 60,000 or 70,000. If 50,000 of those are driving to the stadium, then who has all that room for parking? So that is why their transportation was well planned. You'll park your car somewhere, you'll get onto the train will get you to the stadium. You're done with the game, you'll get off for the train. Rather, you're done with the game, you'll get to the train, and the train will take you to the stadium. Actually, the train station that I just got off is the same train station most Arsenal fans have also just used. Usually there are more than one, because people are coming from different directions, that does get them to the stadium. So when we are telling people that brace yourself when a CHAN comes around, when AFCON comes around, because you will be forced or you will be made to walk to the stadiums, because that is the only way or the best way traffic can be controlled. Not everyone should be driving to the stadium, but because our facilities weren't well planned, we find ourselves that we are facing such challenges where we are finding it hard to access most of these sports facilities and all that. But of course, like we did say, we'll be getting ourselves there. This is a market by the street, selling different things. Of course, I see a bit of avocado, a bit of lemonade, apples, and stuff like that. An outside bar, an Arsenal fan enjoying a drink or two before they probably get to the game. Many of them weren't able to get the tickets for the game, so they'll probably be watching on TV. But we are trying to find our way there. We are trying to find ourselves there. Well, an ambulance are trying to find its way, but looks like traffic is a little bit tight for them. But they eventually find their way, so the noise does lessen for us. Well, you're not get yourself at a 2 next time. And also, fun is probably telling you that you should come and get yourself an Arsenal jersey. Some of them are seated, like what he said, enjoying a drink before they get themselves to the stadium, or probably some of them will be watching the games from the bars around. Yes, there are some PSG fans too. Not all the Arsenal fans are walking to the stadium, but there are some PSG fans. Of course, we would love to talk to some of these fans, but that will be at the stadium, because we might not get there in the time we are required to get there if we are talking to fans. Well, the weather's been a little bit good since we got here. Saturday morning, it was a little bit chilly, cold to the bone marrows. Sunday was okay. That was the day of the marathon, by the way, where Jacob Kiplimo was able to finish second, running a time of 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 37 seconds, which was a national record. Hello. Good luck. Hello. Which was a national record. And the day stayed okay. Monday was the same. Tuesday has been pretty much the same. I also had an opportunity to visit River Thames earlier in the day. Okay, I think I'm moving too fast, especially since I'm following people who are going to the stadium. But probably, maybe I'll have to ask. It's always good to ask if you don't know where you're going. and I might be forced to do that. That's the second ambulance in a space of 5 minutes that is in rush hour to get somewhere. A third. Hello. Which side is the Emirates? This side? Thank you very much. Uganda.
Oh, Uganda. What are you doing? Speculating the game?
Arsenal PSG.
I think Arsenal. I'm coming with an Arsenal fan. Right?
So that makes you Arsenal. So that makes you
I'm
Arsenal.
helping a brother out. Yeah?
But which one is your team?
Me, I support the Arsenal.
Okay.
Arsenal tonight is gonna score 2-1.
2-1.
I reckon. Yeah.
You believe so?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, I mean, I'm from Uganda.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to walk to the Emirates.
To the Emirates Stadium.
Yeah, so that's.
You gotta take one train station away.
No. I want to. I think the train station is blocked.
Are you going to the stadium or?
Yeah, to the stadium.
You have tickets.
Yes, I do.
Oh, cool. That's good.
No Mokovia monument in your ticket. So I'm going to catch the game. Thank you very much. Oh, I saw something here. Hello, Ghana. Usually when there are big games like this, because they want to control the crowds, and I first experienced this during the Olympics in Paris last year. When they want to control the crowds, they try to block the nearest train station to the stadium. Because truth be told, there is a train station that is probably a minute or two away from the stadium once you get off it. But fans are being forced to use a train station that is a couple of minutes away from the stadium for them to be able to walk. So that by the time they get there, it is very easy for the crowd to be controlled. Because usually on days like these, if you don't plan adequately how you're going to control traffic, how you're going to control the crowds, sometimes it becomes a little bit hard and tough. So that is why many actually have to trek this distance before they find themselves there. And we find ourselves in that unfortunate position. You might not want to walk a lot, but in this part of the world, like it or not, you will be forced to walk. Yes, and I want to dedicate that statement I just said that my colleagues, Darren Alan Cheine and Nicholas Bamulanzech, guys walked Paris without wanting, but we never had a choice but to walk. Anyway, I think by the look of things, we are almost there. I'll just have to be sure. Hello. Which side is the Emirates?
This side.
The stadium. From here?
Yeah.
Here? Oh, from here. Okay. Well, we're almost there. Almost. At least I can see the stadium, if I'm not mistaken. Very beautiful. Thank you very much. No, you can't. It's a souvenir. It's a souvenir. In exchange for what?
Just brotherly love.
No. It must be in exchange for something. For it has no Arsenal attachment, so. But good luck. See what I told you? Whew. Almost got knocked down. We are nearing the stadium, and like you can see, there are buildings all around. You need to cross the road, look at a bit of the food. Looks like it's going to be a busy day on these streets. Hot dogs. Woo! Looks delicious. Busy day, I can see. And long night. Street is a little bit busy. Arsenal fans having final meal before the actual game. Good luck, PSG. Good luck, Arsenal. Excuse me.
Oops, sorry, pal.
Wow. Seen something you like, seen something beautiful. The Emirates in the middle of other buildings. People are getting close. Others are checking out God knows what. Well, we'll need to cross the road. I don't know, by the way. I just took a gamble, but I don't know if I will be allowed to walk around the stadium, especially since it is game day and there are usually crowd management and control. There are probably some places you won't be allowed to get to if you don't have a ticket. But I love taking gambles. I love taking my chances, so I'll take it a chance. I'll take a gamble. Seen somebody you recognize? The Brazilian flag standing out. Woo! Ooh. Emirates Stadium. Wow. Whoa, people already walking. Speechless.
I'm the original New Balance. He's both wearing New Balance. I'm the original New Balance. Yeah, I do have a
So we finally made it at the Emirates Stadium. That's the one behind me. And what I'm going to try to do is to get myself get closer to the stadium. Of course, like I said, I don't have a match day ticket, so I don't expect to get in. But I want to walk around the stadium and probably look at some of the interesting features that are around the stadium. The place is a little bit busy because Arsenal Football Club are taking on a PSG in their first leg of the UEFA Champions League. So our visit here coincided with what is happening. But of course, that is a journey that I said earlier. I want you to walk with me. Of course, the final of the UEFA Champions League will be played in a minute. That is at the Allianz Arena. Should be on the 31st of May. The big question is, will Arsenal Football Club be in the final? Will it be PSG in the final? And who will they be playing against? Will it be Inter Milan or will it be Barcelona? But our tour at the Emirates Stadium does continue. We'll be getting to the stadium and just have that walk around the stadium. Of course, we will have to go through security. They will be required to check our bag before we can eventually continue to the stadium. And yes, that is what will be happening here. Yes, please. Oh. Oh. We are done with security. That is the first checkpoint I've encountered on my way to the stadium since I left the train station. Or I can say the first physical checkpoint I have encountered. Well, welcome to the home of football. Not sure about that, but they love to call themselves that. This is the clock end. Of course, in there are the different restaurants. People who have already made their way to the stadium, enjoying a meal before they can eventually catch the game. Like I said earlier, the stadium is actually built in the middle of a city or town because, like you can see, there is a lot of construction going around. It is not an isolated facility outside town. And of course, we'll be seeing the other different areas that are all buildings that are around the stadium. So that's where we came from. And yes, our walk around the stadium does start now. I don't know which direction I should be taking, but I think I should be taking this direction. Then we'll be coming back here. This is a store selling a bit of Arsenal merchandise. Another one here. They don't accept cash. Everything has to be via Visa. Of course, you need a burger or something to treat yourself. For snacks are in there. So our journey will start here. Some of the Arsenal greats, Dennis Bergkamp, Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry in there. Well, they're trying to pull the Premier League trophy, a golden Premier League trophy. The last time they won it was in 2004, 21 years ago. And yes, they were unbeaten at the time. That's the squad. Freddie Ljungberg in there, Lauren Meyer up there. Thierry Henry, like we did say, behind him is Arsene Wenger. Robert Perez behind Thierry Henry, Sol Campbell, Jens Lehmann, Gilberto Silva, Ashley Cole, Kolo Toure. Who's that? Is that Edu? Can't remember the person next to Edu. Rather next to Kolo Toure. Could it be Edu? Not Perez. Anyway, we move. This is the clock end. Of course, 18 stories of fire escape and off to the game. That is a message to the fans. Some of the different quotes of the different Arsenal legends painted or printed down here. Eddie Hapgood, 1927 to 1945. We are told that the calmest and most exemplary of fullbacks, Arsenal and England captain, 440 matches in the red and white. One of the Arsenal greats in there. 17 years of greatness, 17 years of the greatest game in the great company, and I've had a fine time. Some of these interesting quotes. Of course, he also has a message to the fans. I saw Eddie captain, this is the fan speaking, I saw Eddie captain England and 6 of his Arsenal teammates against Italy in 1934 at the famous Battle of Highbury. He was both brave and remarkably even-tempered, not reacting even after a brutal challenge broke. Okay. Bob Wilson, 1963 to 1974. It was the feeling that you were wearing this big gun on your chest, and my goodness, everywhere you went, you felt proud to be wearing it. Many of Arsenal fans today feel like that. Of course, the 1971 double winning goalkeeper, Bob Wilson, spent 28 years as the club's goalkeeping coach after retiring as a player with 309 appearances and 125 clean sheets to his name. Wow, what a run he had in there. Well, this is a Thierry Henry promo. But we'll continue with our work, of course, because of these standstills, meaning we are not allowed to go through here because, like I did say, we don't have a match day ticket. The rooms of convenience, you want to help yourself. I think these are for public use. Anyone who wants to ease themselves, they can actually use these ones. The people who use this entrance, I see Diamond Club directors. So not everyone actually gets in there. You must be at a certain level in the club. You must be belonging to probably Diamond Club. I'm not an Arsenal fan, so not really interested in knowing what that means. But of course, the directors, but also by the look of things, you can see the people who are going in there, how they are dressed, and that will tell you the kind of people who are supposed to get into through the stadium. Highbury West entrance, club level. That is another entrance that our fans are using to get into the stadium. And this is one of the general stands that I guess probably those holding the general tickets will be using to get themselves into the stadium. But you can also see the order. You can also see the order, by the way. There is a too much order here. You don't just fail to follow protocol and all that. Some of the fans that came earlier enjoying a meal, probably these are the Diamond Club or the directors where they chill before the game, enjoying a meal before they can eventually go catch the game. Ooh, sorry about that. Another big Emirates logo. And of course, different faces of former players and fans. You can read it there. Good old Arsenal, we are proud to say that name while we sing this song. We will win the game. Wow. We are the clock end. We are the clock end. We are the clock end. Highbury. Arsenal in the soul. 1-0 to the Arsenal. The different banners, I think they used to put up there while they were still playing at Highbury, carrying the memories to the Emirates just out here. Well, there is another Arsenal great here. We'll get close and let's see what is being said about him. Kenny Sansom, 1980 to 1988, the tenacious, tough and talented left back who played 400 times for Arsenal and wore the 3 lions more than any other. Supposed to be Ghana. I don't know why. Okay, probably there's a Ghana now who surpassed him. Probably why that was removed. David Dunskin, 1986 to 1989. The driving force behind our club's being. Scottish founding father who had the vision to spark millions of dreams from 1886 to 1899. Okay.
Fans there.
I'm being told to don't spend a lot of time around, so probably I need to make my movements a little bit faster. Welcome to the home of football, the North Bank. So this is another stand altogether. Probably Arsenal fans are familiar with it.
Yeah.
Someday we'll return and probably have a proper tour around the stadium to show you exactly what goes in there. Well, another entrance or another route that is bringing fans in, as you can see just up there. Well, David Orrell played for Arsenal from 1975 to 1993. Interesting. 722 appearances and 6 major honors. A model of calm and class at the back. He wore the Arsenal shirt on more occasions than anybody else. Right. George Mill here. A right back and captain of distinction with 46 years service to the club. As player, coach, and scout, played 100 consecutive games between 1932 and 1934. Wow, 100 consecutive games. Of course, one time he had something to say. A packed stadium and a great team sometimes. The whole drama of it just took your breath away. Every time I ran out of Highbury to those crowds, I thought I was the luckiest man alive. Well, not so many of them think like that these days. Bintu byachu katwagala sente. Woo! Well, every time I want to get close to some of these images out there, I'm told that to move a little bit fast. Probably an Arsenal face that so many are familiar with. Robert Perez in there. Some of the fans are trying to queue up, enjoy a meal, a drink before they get into the game. Bukayo Saka in there. Hopes to be an Arsenal great someday. Oh. Another VIP treatment up there. It's too bad you can't see clearly because of the glass. But of course, like I told you earlier, yes, it is a stadium, but where it is not isolated. There are lots of buildings around it. So this notion of you can't have a stadium in the middle of a city or in the middle of a town probably doesn't work, especially if you planned well. The problem is we never want to plan. Well, a statue of an Arsenal great, trying to get close to see who this is. And some of the fans are seated chilling, waiting for the game. Played in the days of JVC, and this is none other than Tony Adams from 1983 to 2002. One of those players that Arsenal fans are really, really, really proud of. Great defender he was. One of those players who wondered why they had signed Patrick Vieira, but before he could leave the club, he knew how great a player he was going to be for the football club. Other different images of different Arsenal players from the past. Of course, the manager in there, Arsene knows some of the previous managers who have won titles before. Oh. Well, apologies about that. Our tour around the Emirates Stadium had to be cut short because of technical glitches beyond our control. But of course, we promise to return and take you around, and probably at that time will be more orderly and organized. But also, hopefully, you enjoyed a bit of what we were able to show you all the way from the train station getting to the stadium. Remember to subscribe to our channel if you're yet to subscribe. Let's allow our audience to grow. But also, you can leave a comment for us in the comment section because we do love the criticism. Like I always say, it helps us get better. Clive Chaze is my name. Hope you enjoyed that. Catch you again in the next episode on CK Sports.